never thought I would be here. I am so pleased to be here. This is going to be a panel slightly different. I'm going to do things quite informally. We're all friends here, aren't we? I want to picture yourself. You're watching Game of Thrones on your sofa. Close your eyes. Think about all the questions you want to ask us. So you've got yourself in that really relaxed place. Ready? So put your hand on your heart. Got your eyes closed. Put your hand on your wallet. Bring it up to me. I'll look after it. Okay. These are all my friends, guys. These are the people I've worked for 6 years with on what I think is the best show that's ever been created. And the first guest, I'm sad to say, has been a monkey on my back. 6 years. Yeah, this microphone actually. What the hell's going on here?
There we go.
There, that's better. Ladies and gentlemen, my very good friend and little brother, Isaac Hempstead Wright. Ladies and gentlemen, John Bradley. The amazing Natalie Emmanuel. I've known them since they were like 8 years old. It's so scary. Sophie Turner. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Anderson. My fellow countryman, Conleth Hill. You all look ravishing, absolutely ravishing tonight. So I'm just going to start the questions. We'll start the questions. When? I'm going to start with you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Hall H.
Okay, we've seen Tormund make a play for Brienne. I actually have a theory that I think Brienne and Hodor would make a really good couple.
I've always held a candle for that.
Very small one. Very small. Okay. We've seen Tormund make a play for Brienne, who seems to be rebuffing his advances. Do you think she secretly enjoys being appreciated as a woman and a warrior? Good question.
Well, I think it's really, what I love about Brienne of Tarth is that I don't think that at the foremost of her consciousness is a value system that's based on how men appreciate her. But, I mean, who doesn't like being appreciated as both, really? But I don't think that's really what she's invested in at all. I think she's finding it incredibly awkward, but underneath any awkwardness is always that potential secret enjoyment. What do you all think? Does she like it? Or does she like someone else?
Wow.
Who?
What are you saying? Okay. Wow.
What?
Alfie. Firstly, what do you call your dog? What's the name of the dog?
Her name is Abby.
That is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Seriously. I really like for you to return to the character of Theon after such a torturous run as a week?
I'd say it was definitely a challenge. I'd say that he wasn't really kind of stepping into the Theon that he was before he was turned into Reed. But yeah, he's had definitely a crazy arc of many of the characters on the show. His has been one of the craziest, but it's just been enjoyable, you know, to be able to sort of find empathy for a character such as him.
Amazing. Thank you, Elsie. Conleth, we've never actually had an opportunity to act together, which is terrible. Many of your fellow cast cite how difficult it can be to keep them laughing while filming with you. Do you purposefully make them laugh?
No.
And is there an actor who makes you laugh?
They all make me laugh. And sometimes they know it, but mostly they don't. But Dinklage would make me laugh.
Yeah. There's some pretty funny people in the cast, that's for sure. Not you. Jacob.
Hello.
Hi.
That's not how I speak. Hello.
Is it true that we've seen Grey Worm being a bit flirtatious with Lucinda? And do you see a future for them?
I think there's things firing between them. There's chemistry, right? I think. I want those kids to be happy. I want them to find happiness with each other. Everything's so sad.
Nothing's ever going to be happy. Seriously. Do you think Daenerys would approve of that relationship?
Yeah. I mean, she'd do the wedding. She'd like. You don't call a wedding, do you? It's not bingo. But yeah, I think she'd be involved.
Awesome.
Not involved.
That's a completely different show. You would all watch it though, wouldn't you? Totally. Sophie.
Hi.
Shut up. Is Sansa being manipulated by Littlefinger, or is she playing the long game?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think initially, you know, there was definite manipulation on Littlefinger's part, but you know, as Sansa has grown and been, you know, a prisoner by all of these master manipulators, especially Littlefinger, she's been silently absorbing and learning and adapting. And in my opinion, she's just as good at playing the game as he is at this point.
Thanks, guys.
Liam.
Hello. Look at this, a rose between two thorns. Go ahead, ask the question.
At the end of last season, Davos found out about I really need to wear my glasses. Melisandre's part in Shireen's death. Jon Snow banished her from the north, and Davos said he would kill her if she ever returned. Do you think he would? And does he have it in him to murder someone in cold blood?
I think that's a good question. I don't think he's the vindictive type. I think if he was on the road, taking a long weekend somewhere, and in the opposite direction, he saw a lady in a red cape approaching, I think there's a good chance he'd whip out a Glock and pop a couple of caps in her ass. But I don't think he'd hunt her down. I don't think he'd do an Arya. I don't think he's got a list. But I definitely think he'd put her in a shallow grave somewhere if no one was going to find out. But that's just me.
Can you just quickly show us how you hold a Glock?
Yeah, I had a sideways man like in a hut.
I love it. Natalie.
Hi.
There was a great scene with Tyrion and Grey Worm last season when Tyrion was exhorting you both to drink.
Yeah, Sunday got a little
We saw then that Lucinda and Grey Worm were growing closer. How do you hope that storyline pans out?
I feel quite similarly to Jacob. I'm like, want these guys to be happy and, just stay together. I think they've come through so much atrocity. So to see them laugh together and feel something for another person is so beautiful, and I've really enjoyed portraying that journey. And I hope we get to see it blossom more, and maybe there might be a happy ending for them. I daren't say it, just in case.
That's a death. Yeah, I know how it feels. John.
Hello.
Hello. Sam has always considered himself a bit of an outsider. Have Gilly and baby Sam given him a sense of belonging? I didn't write these, by the way.
He's absolutely always been an outsider. He was an outsider from the day he was born at home, because his father considered him to be such a disappointment and treated him with such contempt. Then he was removed to Castle Black, where he was an outsider again. And then he said, well, the one place I can be really accepted is the Citadel. That's the one place I can go where my passions and interests aren't treated with scorn and contempt. They're the place where it's a place where people have an understanding and appreciation of knowledge, and this is going to be the place where I feel accepted for the first time in my life. Gets there is just as much as an outsider there as he is anywhere else, because they make him do all those jobs that you saw him do. It's interesting that people say, how is him being at the Citadel going to affect his relationship with Gilly, given the fact that they've grown so close over the years. But that was when Sam didn't have thousands and thousands of books as a distraction from his relationship. So I think that as time has gone on, Sam has worked out, as a lot of people work out in relationships, that your kind of sphere of interest shrinks, and you no longer want to be necessarily accepted by a wider world or even a wider community, because you know what's important, and important is being loved by two people rather than accepted by hundreds.
This is a very important question. Do you miss me?
Been so empty without you on set this year.
Such a liar. Seriously.
It's making me say this. Help.
Okay, this actually is a question which, as a fan of the show, and I've been there for 6 years. What the hell's name is that three-eyed raven about? The three-eyed raven. What the hell is that about?
Well,
I want an in-depth
an analysis.
like a Wikipedia page.
Well, what's interesting about the three-eyed raven is he's one of the sort of few fragments that remain of the old Westeros, of the ancient kind of magical, mystical side of it. So what exactly his purpose is, I don't think has been revealed yet, but clearly it's something important. There's been, the Night King appears to be his sworn enemy, so he must have some important role to play. So for Bran this season especially, it's quite exciting that he is now the three-eyed raven.
So you don't know them?
No, I don't, yeah. That's my rambling way.
Okay. Yeah, it's very, very informative, thank you. Right, this is for everybody, and I'm going to start right back down at the end. Gwendolyn, I like this question. If you ended up on the Iron Throne, what would be the first law you would pass?
Oh no. What would be the first law I would pass? That women could be knights.
Same question to you, Alfie.
I would say the brotherhood that Beric Dondarrion is part of be made allowed throughout the land, so everyone can come back to life.
That works for me.
That Comic Cons are free.
Nice.
puppies for everyone. and also some sort of device where we can create unicorns to exist. I mean, I don't know how that would work.
Everybody needs unicorns.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Sophie.
God, this is really tough. The first thing that comes to mind is just like unlimited carbohydrates. I don't know why, but that's what I'm...
I think in selected outlets all over Westeros, there should be free Dornish wine for all the inhabitants of Westeros. You're welcome.
I think Sunday would probably want, and I would quite like, language lessons for everyone. Normie's bilingual and education for everyone. So that's a really serious answer, but also true how I feel. Yeah.
How about maesters have to clean out their own stinking
I'd set up a holiday scheme for all the characters who have only filmed in the cold places to go and film in the warm places.
I second that. Okay. Moving back to the individual questions. What about me? Yeah. Okay. I would make it illegal for one person to mount another and be carried.
I'm glad you finished that sentence.
And every time you have to say thank you, which you never did. It's not true. It's not true. Anyway. Well, you're always my first.
Last, you're everything.
Okay. What do you think drives Brienne to never give up on her quest to protect the Starks?
I think that the relationship between Brienne and Catelyn Stark was a moment where Brienne realised strength in another woman. I remember quite fervently that line, to Catelyn Stark, you have strength. Not a man's strength, but a woman's strength. And I think it was that realisation that Brienne didn't have to force herself into a mould of masculinity. She didn't have to take the path of men before her in order to be taken seriously or to do good. That she could be propelled by her own intuitive sense of what was right in terms of a moral compass. And I think that there's something very beautiful about the way she's projected that into the future, that it doesn't matter if someone lives or dies, that goes into that person's daughters, and it is significant that they are her daughters, to return the Stark girls home. And in her own way, I think that Brienne feels that even if it's one small thing for one person or two people, that's going to perpetuate a sense of good, which maybe subconsciously creates a greater sense of equality. And that's what I think is driving her. She's connecting to an idea that's greater than herself.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever seen me at one of these, my answers for basically every question is always Brienne of Tarth. Yeah, you would be the queen, I would fit on the throne. So, that's why. Okay. Awkward. Alfie.
I love you!
Alfie, as a true Ironborn, how comfortable is Theon with the fact that he has forsaken his way of life to be on Team Daenerys?
I think that the arc is really kind of deciding the journey they take now, their new leadership with Daenerys. So I'd say that it's definitely an equal partnership between the two of them, but I would say he's just excited to see where this new leadership takes them, being led by Daenerys and Jon.
Conleth.
How dare you?
Varys is rarely rattled. What do you think scares him?
I think the economic outlook. Something, whatever that sorcerer said. We saw him with the Red Priestess, where it was one of the few times where he looked a bit, what? Because she was cray. Yeah, I think that's he survived so much, but that's the one thing we don't know what was said. And because of your experience with, words and hold the door and everything, I think, oh God, I'm going to be holding a door for someone. That's what the sorcerer said. So that's the only thing I'm kind of, there's some mystery there that I still don't know what that's about, what was said and what it means.
Well, my advice when it comes to holding doors is don't.
Or get a swing door.
Yeah. It never ends well. Jacob.
Yes.
Some of you out there may know Jacob is also a very talented musician.
Thank you.
How do you balance both sides of your career?
I kind of don't. I'm really lucky that I've got the way we shoot the show is kind of over a period of, I don't know why I'm telling you this. The way we shoot the show is like 6 months, then we're all kind of in and out, kind of revolving doors. Sorry, that was a trigger. So I just, whenever I'm not in Belfast or a sunny place,
Rub it in, man.
just,
You're talking about doors, you're talking about the sunshine.
write songs. It's not been too bad actually. It's not been hard. I mean, my life could be worse. Sorry, I'm really nervous, by the way. This is like, I'm at home here, but for some reason I've got really nervous.
Why don't you give us a rendition of a song?
What song do you want to hear?
That
Oh,
one.
not one of my songs. You already hear one of my songs.
Oh, yeah. I thought it might calm your nerves.
Okay. Calm your nerves, calm your nerves.
Beautiful.
Every time. Is that you shutting me up? really excited. I was about to go into like a
Medley.
Yeah, medley. That was just Edelweiss, wasn't it? So there, calm your nerves.
Thank you, Jacob. I mean, yeah, I know what it's about. I know it's about balancing 2 careers. I was like actually DJing until like 2 a.m. last night. I don't balance. I just do it.
Yeah.
You do it. You just do it. Yeah. Sophie. Hi. Does Sansa retain any of her ideas about love, marriage, and being happy? Or is she now of the opinion that men are just after her for what she can get, or what they can get?
I don't think she's like season 1 Sansa and she's particularly she's not really looking for a relationship or love at the moment. I think she's kind of done with that. I think, she's always on the search for happiness, but she doesn't really see the world through rose-tinted glasses anymore, She sees the reality of the situation. In terms of like seeing men in a different light, I think she sees the world in a different light. I don't think men in particular. I think she...
Broke that man's heart.
I mean, of course, she's just she's woke now, guys. She's real woke. She's cautious. She trusts no one, whether it be man or woman. Whether a family member or not, she trusts no one, and I think that's important when you play the Game of Thrones.
Liam.
Yes.
Do you think Davos misses his smuggling days? When life is simpler and he is able to live by his wits?
Yeah, that's a kind of an interesting question because him being promoted from small-time criminal to being sucked into this web, this game, there's very little room. I think it reflects real life. People end up in powerful positions. You can't have a simple life anymore. It's very difficult to be just happy. You're playing games, you're paranoid, who's out to get you, the whole thing. But I think he feels he has a responsibility to be there to try and keep whoever it may be on the right track. Because he's decent and he's loyal, and he doesn't have that addiction for this horrible drug that is power. So his head is a little bit clearer than some. But I do like the guy's. I love the guy's simplicity. He is who he is, and he's not a complicated character. And it's really nice to do it. It's really nice to play somebody like that and play those little colours on that. I really love this character.
I think that's one of the special things about George R. R. Martin's writing, that every single character, even no matter how small they are, is completely multi-layered. We all get such a great...
What do you mean small? I'm kidding.
I don't mean you. I only had one word. I don't think I can compete. Anyway, Natalie. We know that Missandei owes a debt to Daenerys as she freed her from slavery. Do you think Daenerys should have made Missandei her hand instead of Tyrion?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know about that. That would be cool. I'd love to play that. But I think, Tyrion knows the enemy. He is much more experienced with being a hand. And that sort of political landscape. I think Missandei has come from a completely different world. She's been dealing with a completely different set of dangers, but this sort of strategizing and negotiating this very cutthroat world all of a sudden is so new. So I think Tyrion is probably the better candidate for hand, and I fully support him in that role. Although it would be super cool to be hand to your bestie, It's like girl power, double team, really fun.
I think he would have made an awesome hand, actually.
Oh, well, thank you.
TBH.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
John, when Samwell was a member of the Night's Watch, Jon Snow was his constant protector. How much of an influence do you think Jon still has over him? And how much does Samwell want to please Jon?
Sam arrived at Castle Black completely bereft of any positive male role model in his life. And indeed, the positive female role model that he had been very cruelly taken away from him. So what he found in Jon Snow in that moment was everything he possibly needed, all kind of wrapped up in one person. He was a big brother, he was a father figure, he was a confidant, he was a best friend, he was all of these things. And Sam knew what it was like to be saved by somebody. He knew what it was like to be saved by Jon Snow, and knew what it was like to have somebody take the burden of you on their shoulders. And when he found Gilly, he found somebody in even more kind of emotionally dire straits than he was, who had a life of systematic sexual abuse laid out in front of her, and the worst possible life you could imagine. So he knew what it was like to be saved again. So he wanted to do that for somebody else. He wanted to save this girl and her son because he knows how important that can be. It was like Jon handed the baton to Sam. And Jon Snow was kind of everything to Sam, and now they've gone on their separate paths because Sam wants to please him so much, because he wants to fight the same battle as Jon Snow. He wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with Jon Snow in the Great War, but he knows that he can't do that on the battlefield. He knows that he has to do that using his very unique set of skills, which is academia and learning and applying knowledge. The Citadel is his battlefield. And so Jon sent him there, and now he has the responsibility to make Jon's faith in him justified and get Jon results. He knows it's a race against time. He needs to get in there, find out whatever piece of information he needs to find out, get back up to the north and give it to Jon Snow. That's what he feels that responsibility all the time. He knows he's got a huge debt to repay to Jon, and he feels that very strongly. And Fingers crossed he does just that, right?
Isaac, in certain spiritual traditions, the third eye refers to the gate that leads to inner realms and spaces of higher consciousness. Do you think that applies to the three-eyed raven? It's all about the raven.
I think in many ways it does, because I've always said that if I could have any superpower, it would be to be all-knowing, and that's exactly what Bran is now. He's learnt with the original three-eyed raven, and now he has access to like this vast encyclopedia of all of history. And not only can he just read someone's perspective of it, he can actually exist there in that time and watch it happen. So if that's not one of the deepest and most interesting realms there is, then I'm not sure what is.
Thank you, Isaac. Okay, before I open the floor for questions from you guys, I'm going to ask another few questions of the group. This is obviously very important, this question. Gwendolyn, if there were one character, oh Lord, that you wish hadn't been killed, who would it be?
Well, I mean, there's two people, obviously. One is someone who was a magnificent presence in the series, who happens to be hosting this panel. And also Catelyn Stark.
Big answer, real answer. Alfie.
Who would I like to be brought back to life?
Yeah, pretty much.
I would say Khal Drogo. I like Khal Drogo.
Thomas?
Catelyn, and you.
Don't say it.
Okay, not you. Catelyn and no, you.
I'm still hurting about Ned. Still breaks my heart.
Takes a while to get over that one.
I also have a flame for Barristan Selmy. I went on for Barristan.
I just really loved working with Jack Gleeson so much that I have to say Joffrey. He was so
You're such a good husband. Very jealous man. I have no choice. I have to say my baby girl Shireen.
Yeah.
That still hurts. Big time.
I think I am still heartbroken about Hodor. Like, I honestly just can't quite put it into words. But I just love your guys' like whole thing. So I think my answer is Hodor. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, two answers again. First and foremost, the legitimate answer is Robb Stark. And the second answer is, if there's one character that I wish they hadn't killed, it'd be Jon Snow, just to save us having to talk about it every 5 minutes every year. That was a pretty crummy year.
Yeah, you know, I actually got in the newspapers about that. Someone asked me for like the 37th time that hour, is Jon Snow coming back? And I just lost it. I was just like, you know what? I don't care. And the next day in the paper it said, Christian Nairn hates Kit Harington. I didn't say that. Isaac, yeah, you be very careful. Confidence. Okay, I think I've got time for one more quick question you'll all be glad to hear. When... Actually, I'm going to shake this up. I'm going to mix this up. Sophie, because you're looking at me. After so much time working on Game of Thrones, are you ready to act in a comedy, rom-com, or a musical? And would you like to act or direct? Or...
I feel like Game of Thrones incorporates rom-com musical. I don't know. I like the dark, gritty stuff, but I don't know if I could do comedy after all this. I'm in a very dark place in my life.
Yeah, I can second that. She is.
Let's see. Alfie.
Yes.
Would you like to be in a rom-com, or would you like to act or direct? Or I know you
Love nothing more than to be in a rom-com.
Nothing.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, to just anything that comes my way, not even, you know, I'll just, you know, take anything on. But yeah, directing is something that we're definitely interested in.
Cool, man. Well.
I'm desperate to do this. Please, someone put me in a musical. Kind of Marlene Dietrich, kind of gender-bending, sort of song and dance.
Cabaret type thing.
Maybe.
If I ask this question, I'll prerequisite. I won't ask you to prove it, but can you sing? Can she sing? I don't know this. I don't know the answer.
The jury's out. Aspect of doing a musical. But I hear they can do all sorts of technology.
It's called miming.
Okay. Isaac.
I'd like to be in Game of Thrones, the comedy rom-com musical.
How did that go?
Well, it would just be a comedy rom-com musical. What more
The way
do you
people
need?
come out behind the door and like tap dance.
Yeah, I mean, you can have all sorts of different musical numbers. It's ripe for a musical adaptation.
Shall we do it?
Yeah. David Dan.
We're just the people who do it. You play the piano, I play the guitar.
Well, there are so many musicians.
We've got like a whole band here actually. John.
When I was 13 years old, I played Potiphar, the plum role of Potiphar, in Joseph and His Amazing Technical Dreamcoat at school. Couldn't sing then, can't sing now. Absolutely stormed it somehow then.
Nice.
It'd be interesting to see how standards have risen over time. I'd be interested in reprising my iconic role as Potiphar on the London stage for a hefty old fee.
Liam.
I'd love to do some comedy. I did a lot of comedy on stage before I started this television business. But I'm with Peter Dinklage. Peter Dinklage was asked, what did he think? How did he think the last episode should go? And he thinks the last episode of the entire show should be a musical. I think it's a brilliant idea. We're breaking the norms with television. Let's go that way. Let's finish with a high-kicking number. Why not?
I'd watch it.
Never know how. That's a dangerous thing this way. I've forgotten who I've asked. Conley.
I'm happy to take a rest and let other people do rom-coms, comedies, and what's it called?
Musical.
Oh no, they're not getting me. No, I've done it all. Good night.
Yeah, I want to make films, but
That wasn't an option,
I'm like super greedy. I want to do everything. This is quite a hard show to follow. Like, what do you do? I'm a like master spearsman now. That's hard. So I just want to do like hard things. So I guess like a comedy or a rom-com would be quite hard. I do want to, because there's talk of spin-offs of the show. I just want to put my hat in the ring now and just say, I really like the idea. I've been talking to Daniel Portman, who plays Pod, and we've been talking about a sort of sidewall to the show, where Grey Worm and Pod, and maybe Diana Harris.
A cyborg?
Sidewall. It's like, so when you're not sitting, but when you get like cameos, like Brianna would come in and be like,
As a cyborg?
Let's go with the cyborg version. I want the cyborg version. Borg invaded Westeros. Can we do that?
Actually, I can announce that the HBO spin-off has already been decided. It's going to be called Better Call Davos.
Yeah, I'm sort of open to all things. I don't like to be absolutist about anything. Like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, because you never know what comes into your, email inbox. You're like, oh, that's a good script, or that's be a fun thing to do. I actually started off doing musicals, so I am so open to doing a musical. Whether I can sing as well as I should, but I'd give it a go. And other stuff, like I've already sort of attempting to write things, and I'd love to be behind the camera too, so I'm sort of just like going with the flow.
Awesome. I think we've had some really good ideas for a Borg musical in Westeros. I'm going to start working on that right away. And now we're going to open up the floor to you guys, which is the most important part of the panel, I feel. Do we have any questions? Oh, wow. As if by magic. Hello.
Hello. I come here a lot, but this is my first time I've been able to ask a question of Game of Thrones, and there's a puppy! Yay! And you're all just so gorgeous. Oh my God, I wanted to ask a sexy question, but I couldn't think of one. So my question is, and by the way, Hodor needs to come back as a White Walker. And my question is, does anyone have any costume problems that they hate a part of their costume so much, other than Isaac not being able to stand up ever? I'm looking at you, Gwendolyn.
I've definitely had to just be sewn into my costumes, which is really problematic when you leave the bathroom. So, as every time you need to go, you have to be like cut out and then sewn back in.
Well, it's easy for us to cut you out.
Huh?
It's me that has to cut her out.
But yeah, that's only the only like.
There's a queue to cut Natalie out of her costume. She never has to ask for help for some reason.
I think I can add to this a little, because I grew up on a farm, and the only time I have smelt something that smells like my costume after 6 years is when I go into a sty of pigs. I can literally smell my costume from like 8 inches away.
Smells like a sty of pigs? What were you doing in it? Did you have to be snipped?
I do everything in my costume.
Be bothered to be snipped out?
I mean, every year they added a different layer to mine every year to make me sweat slightly more, But really, it smells like death. Have you ever smelled death? I can smell from 3 trailers away. I used to like spray cheap after cheap over it. It's horrible. Anyway, hi guys.
TM.
Hello guys. I want to thank. I've had the blessing and luck of meeting one of you guys each throughout the year. Thank you for the fan service, and I want to. Which crowd is crazier? The Game of Thrones crowd or Star Wars?
People always ask me this, and I can't really, I mean, I should have come up with a better answer by now, really. There's absolutely no excuse. I don't think it's it's not really a craziness, but the level of passion is pretty much equal. And I'm hugely lucky to be involved with both projects. To be involved with a project, what is noticeable is Star Wars is something that many of us have grown up with, that gives us actually, what I feel is a sense of home about Star Wars. That's how I feel. I feel like I've come home. And it's amazing the way Game of Thrones is we're going into the 7th season now. But there's a similar feeling, actually, which I think is matched of the passion and love. And I look forward to the resonance of Game of Thrones carrying on through people's lives, so they have that same feeling of home and love for it.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name's Lila from San Diego, and I just want to say your show is the best show on television right now. It's amazing. I love it. And my question is for Sophie. How's your relationship with John now that you've reunited? And also, since you're running low on brothers lately, I have a proposition for you.
Can I be a Stark?
Yeah, you can. You're a Stark. Easy as that. See, I didn't realize it was that easy to replace brothers. First question was, John and Sansa. I've forgotten the question. What was it? Does anyone know the question?
Back together again.
Back together again. How does it
There's
feel?
a relationship.
Oh, that's right. It's there's still that kind of sibling rivalry from back when they were very young, and they reunited, and there's still kind of those kind of that sexism that's just ingrained in the culture, where the men are the fighting figures and the women just kind of say nothing, when really Sansa is politically, especially to do with Battle of the Bastards, was very she was very knowledgeable about how to deal with the situation, deal with the Boltons, and so it's about them finding that balance and finding that collaboration, but it's proving quite difficult. He's the military man, she's the politician, but I think they both need to realize that they need to stop fighting for ultimate power and just work together.
Thank you very much.
So tell me.
It speaks.
Dragons, direwolves, and three-eyed ravens cannot see. So are you looking forward to rising again as the children of the cold?
Nobody knows what you said, dude.
Step on Carter for a
It's the
second.
first time we've heard the Night King speech. Speak.
Are you looking forward to rising again as the children of the cold?
Great question.
We don't have much choice in the matter, do we?
Really not.
I didn't realize the Night King was California.
Hey, I'm from Philadelphia.
It's made you sound like you were from the valley.
I'm only out here because of the Marine Corps.
That's why the Night King's formidable. He was in the Marine Corps.
Thank you, Dean. You look incredible.
Yeah, you do, man. Beautiful costume.
Hi. I have
Those nuts.
I remember it.
His t-shirt says, drinking from pigs. I like the question.
I know the question. Okay. This is for Gwendolyn. Now, Tormund, he seems to have only one move with the ladies, which is like the same move I have, which is a creepy smile. So, what else could he do to get in Brienne's chainmail?
Well, let's not forget, Tormund is about a mutual respect. That isn't about any sort of overpowering or sexual advance. It has to be about a mutual respect that's born out of skill and a nobility about your ideals.
And you think that's going to happen with Tormund? Yeah, mutual
Well, it's
respect.
not going to happen with you.
You might get lucky.
There are kids here. There are under 18s here.
Okay, we've got time for one last question. So you have the honor of having a last question, dude. So let's do it. Let's do it.
Questions. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Hey. Stop leading the witness.
This question is for everyone. What's your favorite scene of Game of Thrones season 6?
What's your favorite scene of Game of Thrones season 6, guys?
Great question. For me, Battle of the Bastards was absolutely extraordinary. I think it's a really difficult thing to top because we spent like 5 weeks shooting that 20-minute sequence, and it was difficult. It was tough. But for Kit Harrington and the rest of that team, I was in and out of it too bad. But there was extraordinary work done on that with the director. And people keep asking the question, how you have to top it, you have to top it. It shouldn't work like that. We shouldn't always have to make it bigger. We have to make it different and more interesting. So for all the people say, how are you going to make it bigger next year? Let's not worry about that. It's got to be beautiful, not just big. But for me, Battle of the Bastards was extraordinary television.
For me, I don't say this with any offence to you, but it was the death of Hodor. Because I thought it was such a Game of Thrones way of killing off a character. We suddenly learn all this tragic information about the fact that Hodor's purpose was basically just to serve Bran, and it was all as a result of Bran's hubris. And we just discover this, and we're heartbroken, and then Hodor's taken from us in the ultimate sacrifice. And as tragic as it was, it was clearly done, and you did marvelously.
Any other submissions?
One of my favourite moments was Yara Greyjoy and Dany meeting. Can we do the handshake? It's amazing. Remember, it's like that. It's
Great. I like that.
I just thought that was such a powerful moment in seeing these two women coming together, and like I feel like it was the beginning of. It feels like the women are like about to own this shit. Sorry, excuse my language. but that felt like one of those moments that started to seed in last season. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's cool.
Guys, we've just come to the end of the panel. I can't believe it after all this. Thank you so much for coming. Guys, it's been an honor to be a part of the show. Christy.